Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at some new makeup from Hourglass. So we have the new Illusion foundation and I've been wearing this on and off for the past couple of weeks. We also have several of the new Hourglass. These are the glossy lip shines and I love this formula, so I picked up the new shades, so we'll take a look at those as well. And then I ended up doing my makeup pretty much all Hourglass, so at the end I'll just share with you what products I use if you want to see the swatches of those. So let's go ahead and we're going to get started with the foundation here. All right, so hopefully this doesn't blind you too much, but we do have a gold tube here, plastic tube from Hourglass for this Illusion foundation. I purchased shade 1. We have SPF 30 in this foundation, and let me go ahead and show you what shade 1 looks like, and you can see the texture here of the foundation. So it's kind of like a medium weight moisturizer. That's the texture of here. It's not too creamy, but it's also not too thin like a serum. So it's got a nice medium weight consistency, and this will give you light to medium buildable coverage. But let's move on to the wear tests and demos. So this foundation retails for $58 US. As I mentioned, it does have SPF 30. It's made in the US, and there is an expiration date, because of your sunscreen ingredients and so forth. So mine expires in, it's a little hard to see whether it says August or September. I think it's September of 2026. So the active ingredients here are avobenzone, homosalate, and octasalate. According to Hourglass, this all-in-one formula combines the benefits of a broad-spectrum SPF 30 sunscreen, advanced skincare, and high-performance foundation for an unbelievably luminous glow that lasts all day. The ultra-creamy texture melts into skin to visibly smooth and diminish the appearance of imperfections for a luminous, even-tone complexion. Infused with our advanced hydro-smoothing technology, this intensely moisturizing formula is clinically proven to visibly reduce fine lines and wrinkles, while broad-spectrum SPF 30 sunscreen helps protect skin from sun damage and early signs of aging. We have 35 milliliters of product in here. So our standard foundations are typically 30 milliliters, so just a little bit more here. Now, according to Hourglass, there's 12-hour wear, it's transfer and crease resistant, it doesn't settle into fine lines, and it doesn't oxidize throughout the day. My personal experience is that, it doesn't really oxidize, so I think that's good. The color stays pretty true from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. I don't really have too much of an issue with settling in the fine lines. My biggest issue, and you can see this in the wear test here, is that there seems to be separation that occurs throughout the day. And this may be related to the SPF in here or some of the skincare ingredients, but there's something in here that as time goes on over the day, with the way it reacts with my skin, it separates. So you can see it ends up looking kind of like spotty coverage and so forth. When I first put it on, it does give a really beautiful luminous glow. I really like the way it looks when I first put it on. I love the texture of this. This is a foundation I really want it to love. It's so pleasant to use. But unfortunately, I've tested this with all of my different primers. So I have some clips here of some of the primers, but I've used the OG primer, I have used the Prada primer, What's Up Beauty, Surratt, SUQQU, so forth. So today we actually have it on without a primer, with just the Sisley Blur Expert powder, which is essentially a powder primer. I have worn this without a primer at all as well, and unfortunately, I still have the separation issue, but I was thinking maybe that's due to my separate sunscreen. So I tried it without sunscreen. Maybe it's due to my skincare and so forth. Unfortunately, every single time I wear this foundation, I have this separation issue. So there's something in here that just does not work for me. It's beautiful upon application. And, I really love the way the formula feels texturally. But unfortunately, I can't recommend it because of these issues. If you've tried it and you were able to overcome those issues or they didn't happen to you, please chime in the comments and share that for others who might be interested in this. But unfortunately for me, this one just doesn't work out. All right, so this is the Hourglass as it's been sitting on my hand for just over 5 minutes now. And we'll put a fresh swatch here so you can see what it looks like freshly upon application. You can see there's not going to be a huge difference there. So just a slight amount of oxidation that occurs maybe in the first few seconds, it's already matching up. So there's really oxidation's not an issue with this foundation. So that's shade 1, and we're just going to do a couple of quick shade comparisons here just for anybody who might be looking for a match. This is the Dior Hydra Nude Foundation in 0N. You can see they're going to be pretty close to each other. The Dior is perhaps a little bit more yellow, but honestly, they're 99% identical in color. A foundation with a similar texture is the Koh Gen Do Moisture Foundation, which is one of my all-time favorites. I've gone through several bottles. This is shade 012, and you can see it's going to be a little peachier, a little bit deeper. And this will also have kind of that more medium weight moisturizer type texture to it. It's a little bit thinner than the Hourglass. The Hourglass feels just perhaps a little more cushiony. So similar though texturally. And let's just take a look at a Chanel foundation. This is the number 1 de Chanel, and this is shade BD01. I'm going to put this one right down here at the bottom, and you can see it's pretty close as well. A little bit lighter, a little more ivory, but it's going to be pretty close. So I would say if that's your shade, then the Hourglass 1 works well. So let's move on to the lipsticks. So if you ask me what my favorite Hourglass product is, I would actually choose the Glossy Balms. So these are my personal favorite. I think most people typically when they think of Hourglass, they think of the palettes. I really do like the palettes, but the Glossy Balms, they are one of my favorites. So we have 3 new shades, and these are going to be pearly shades. Plus we have a 4th new shade, a new red. So we're going to take a look at those. And this first one here is number 75, Wander. And we're going to go ahead, let's put these here. This is, I mean, it's essentially lip gloss, a thick cushiony lip gloss in stick form. So you can see that this shade here is kind of like a deep peachy coral, more peach than coral. And this is described by Hourglass as a soft peachy pink with gold and silver shimmer. And I would say that's pretty apt. So this is going to be a warm shade. Next up, this is 80 Invite. And this is described as a rosy brown. And again, we do have gold and silver shimmer here. Or rather just gold shimmer, my mistake. So you can see between the two, I would say I see more shimmer actually in the Invite shade. They both are going to have a bit of a pearly finish, but that gold shimmer really stands out a bit more here. And I don't really think of it more as a rosy brown. I think of it more as a coppery brown. This is more of a soft copper with gold accents. Now this one here is 85 Secret. This was the one I was most excited about because it does look to be the coolest. You can see it. I see it didn't. I didn't have it pulled up enough to finish getting that swatch there, but this one here is going to be described by Hourglass as a deep rose with rose gold pearls. And I would say this is pretty accurate. It is a deep rose. It's coolest of the 3, but it's neutral. I would say there's equal amounts of warmth and coolness in this one. So it doesn't really lean too much one way or the other. If you really had to classify it, it's like 1% cooler than neutral on the spectrum. And that's because our base here, although this shade, typically you might think of something like this cool tone, the actual base here does have some warm notes to it. So if you want it to look even cooler in tone, you want to build it up a bit more. But if you kind of shear that out and you see more of the base color, it's going to look slightly warmer. So one sheer layer will look a little bit warmer than a few cooler layers. And then we have Red Zero, and it does have special red packaging. And this is what I have on my lips. I have the Red Zero, and then I topped it with a little bit of Invite, the middle shade, just for a little bit of shimmer there. But I love this, and I think anybody who is looking for a soft red lipstick, you know, that's not too red, but still, you know, an easy to wear beginner red or soft red, this is it. This is such a beautiful shade. And this one here, this is more of a strawberry red. And again, it's pretty neutral. We do have some warm hues in there. We also have some cool tones in there. I would say that the base on this actually though is slightly cooler than that of Secret. So this one will lean a little bit cool. I think it's gorgeous. I absolutely love it. Let's take a look at these on the lips. So each of these retails for 38 US dollars, and they are made in Korea, and we have 1.7 grams of product. There's a 1-year shelf life on these, and these are a volumizing glossy balm, so there is a little bit of that minty sensation there. I wouldn't say it's overpowering, but you can feel a little bit of that like refreshing coolness from the mint. It doesn't sting though, so it's not overpowering in my opinion. Now, according to Hourglass, this innovative 3-in-1 hybrid hydrates like a lip balm, plumps for fuller looking lips, and delivers the high shine finish of a lip gloss. The breakthrough formula is infused with our conditioning complex for lips that instantly look softer and smoother while feeling nourished and replenished all day. It glides smoothly onto lips for full-bodied color and comfortable wear without feeling sticky or tacky. Like all of Hourglass products, it is vegan and cruelty-free, and the cooling sensation is menthol lactate. The Red Zero shade is my personal favorite of these 4 that I picked up, followed by Secret. But what is so great about it is, it's typically pretty hard to get a nice vegan red lipstick because carmine is pretty much used in every red product. And Hourglass has found a replacement for carmine. So the Red Zero is intended to give a saturated true red hue with animal-friendly pigments. They call it Red Zero because it has 0 animal byproducts and 0 insects harmed. And I have to say, I think it is a beautiful shade. I love seeing this in the Glossy Balm formula. The Red Zero that was released in one of the palettes this year for holiday was one of my favorite shades. I'm really happy to see this and the performance of it. I'm really happy to see this, come out, and I'm really happy with it. So overall, I think the new shades are beautiful. I love the texture of these. Think of a thick, cushy lip gloss, but in stick form. So it's very easy to apply. It's not sticky on the lips. It is smooth and, definitely has more of that cushiony vibe to it, more body to it. So I think it's really comfortable, and this again is probably my favorite product from Hourglass. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of some of the items I used today, just so you can kind of see some swatches, and then we'll do a quick summary. So I'm just going to play a quick clip of everything that I used today while I talk a little bit about these. So I started off with the foundation as previously mentioned, and then I used the same brush I used for foundation today to kind of tap on the Unreal Liquid Blush. And I used shade Scene, which is kind of a warm nude pink. And I think these are a really nice liquid blush. I like the formula of these a lot. And my problem with them is the applicator. I don't love the applicator on these. It can be a little finicky. Sometimes instead of getting 1 or 2 drops, you get a whole bunch, which happened to me. And yeah, so I like the formula, but I don't love the packaging. So honestly, I don't reach for these too much. And then for eyes, I really like the Hourglass eye sticks. So I wanted to bring out a couple of mine that I've used, and I went with the shade Galaxy, which is going to be a shimmery, it's supposed to be purple, and it does have some purple in there, but there's really more of a rusty red hue on the base there. So it's going to be a warm purple, and it's going to be one of those red violet types of purples. So it definitely runs a bit warmer. So I put that on the outer corner, and then I also used the green shade, which is called Aurora, which is going to be a golden green. And so this is kind of like an olive green with a little bit of golden shimmer in there. So I mixed the 2 of those together, and then I wanted to add a little bit more shimmer. So I topped it with one of the shades from the Dragon palette from this year's holiday. So this was the highlighter Sunlit Strobe Light. It's the last shade in the Dragon palette from holiday 2024. And then to finish off the eyes, I used the eyeliner in the shade Chestnut, which is a reddish brown. And yeah, I love their eyeliner formula. It's very creamy, it stays put, they perform very well, but they do have a smaller color selection. I think their lip pencils are actually really good too, but again, the color selection is my issue with that. Those all run pretty warm. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. Let's just take a look at the swatches. This is the blush in Sheen, and you can see, you can really get this, you know, very light and subdued. It is like a water blush, like a Daniel Sandler water blush. This is Galaxy and Aurora in the eye crayons. Then this is the Sunlit Strobe Light from the Dragon palette. And this is the eyeliner in Chestnut. So I hope that was helpful. Just a quick summary of the new items today. We took a look at the Hourglass foundation, and I have used this so many times now, and I just love the way it looks when I put it on, but I don't like the way it looks several hours later when I do have separation. So that's kind of my issue with it. But if you're wearing it for a short period of time, it does look really nice for that period of time. So I haven't decided. I'm not going to return it. I think I'll probably use this more like during the summer on days where I know I'm only going to makeup on for a few hours before I go swimming or something like that. So yeah, that's my issue with that. I wouldn't recommend purchasing it because I just feel like you can find something that lasts a bit better. But I do really like the way it feels when it goes on and the texture and so forth. So mixed feelings on that, kind of disappointing. And then we took a look at the new Glossy Balms, and I have those swatched here. We have shade 75, Wander, 80, Invite, 85, Secret, and this is Red Zero. And I really do like these a lot. These two are a little bit warmer than I was hoping. I knew they were going to be warm, but I was hoping they'd be slightly closer to neutral. But I think, you know, Invite in particular, I really like Invite a lot. It gives that like golden tan look. So I think these are both going to be really great for summer. Secret, I think, is just a beautiful, more of a neutral rosy mauve kind of shade because it does have a little bit of warmth in that base. And then Red Zero is going to be a neutral leaning cool red. And it's a soft red that is great for people who are just starting off with reds, or, you know, you just want a little bit of that red hue. So I think the formula is beautiful. So I hope that was helpful. I'd love to know your thoughts. Please share them down below in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you very soon. Have a great day.